Hi and welcome everyone to our 27th episode of The Little Inside. As you might have guessed, my name is still Tobi, and this week we are going to have a look at the topic of money and spirituality. Let's get started right after the intro. Today we are diving into the world of seeming contradictions. Money and spirituality. These two, they seem to have nothing to do with one another. Very often there's a lot of guilt and shame surrounding money. Many feelings about money are often disturbing the minds of many people, and particularly when it is in combination with spirituality, like you have your guru with 25 cars and 5 helicopters, and that seems to be absolutely contradictory. Or you have that very poor kind of spiritual practitioner, like a monk that lives with almost no possessions in a cave, totally unattached, as the ideal, the radiant kind of spiritual practitioner should have nothing and so forth, and should live in complete poverty. Is that really true? It might be. Well, let's have a look at money first. So, money, is it good or is it bad? Is it something that can be used for good or bad activities? Well, of course it is the second. Money is something can be used for good, it can be used for bad. And that all depends on your intention. So more important than money actually is intention. So you might use your money, for example, to help many people, to have educational projects, to start, if you do have the money, to start projects related to health and so forth. You can do a lot of positive change on this world by using your money, by using your wealth. If your intention is, for example, to use that money to do something good so you become more famous in return, that's another story. Then your intention is not really to help, but then your intention would be to become more famous. And the action is then secondary. What counts always as the first instance is intention. The Buddha himself actually defined karma, which means action if you translate it, as intent. He asked this question, he said, what is karma? And he answered it, karma is intent. What is action? Action is intent. Intention is the determining factor of an action. It determines the quality of your action and then thereby also the result of your action. So when you have a lot of money, then you are a person that has a lot of resources, a lot of power. You have the ability to use it wisely, and you have to, or consciously, and you have the ability to use it unconsciously. And for just your own sake, you can use it to just enjoy yourself. Now, is there something wrong with using money to just enjoy yourself? Should you not enjoy yourself when you have a lot of money? Should you only give it all away all the time? And should you only use your money and your wealth to help others? Well, you could, and it would certainly be nice. But then again, it comes down to your attention. Why are you really giving away your money? Why are you really helping others? So here it really always boils down to the factor of intention. And only with mindfulness does this factor of intention actually become clear and obvious to yourself. This, then again, is honesty. You're able to look at yourself with honesty. You really know yourself. Why am I doing this now? What's really behind this? And this you can find out when you become more silent inside. You drop the words, you feel your body, and you will feel what kind of movement is there right now. Why am I really saying things? Why am I really doing things? Why do I really think about that right now? This is really important. Now, money is a neutral force. It is a power, but it is neutral. It is your intention that determines whether it becomes good or bad. And as we also know, there is nothing good that stays good. There is nothing bad that stays bad. Things are continuously evolving, changing, and processes. These are processes. Good and bad are not two things. They are more like a process, like a sort of circle, you can say. So knowing that, we can take out the guilt and the shame that many of us feel as meditators, as spiritual practitioners. There seems to be a lot of shame and guilt that is very often surrounding money, the possession of money. Well, let's say you do have a lot, and at the same time you're a meditator and you feel really kind of strange. You have a lot of money, so you feel kind of obliged to constantly help other people. Then your action, again, it doesn't come out of a pure intention. It doesn't come out of a joyful intention, so it's not very constructive. It comes out of a feeling of guilt and shame. If you have enough honesty and mindfulness, you can spot these things. So you can get used to money, you can practice with having money, or you can practice without having money. There's actually a little story of a Tibetan guy who was a businessman, and he heard monks teaching, and the monk, he was talking about renunciation. He was talking about giving up worldly goods. And this businessman was really touched by this talk, and he decided to give up everything and move up to a mountain and meditate for the rest of his life until he attains enlightenment. And so he actually did that. He gave all his possessions to his family members, he distributed everything, and then he just took a cooking pot and a blanket and went up into the mountains to meditate. And so the first day came, and it was really cold, and he had such a hard time in that cave because he gave up all of his possessions. He had no comfort whatsoever, and he had no skills also to kind of search for firewood, and snow started falling. He didn't find a proper cave. So after the first day, he decided to leave his cave. It was just way too much for him, and he decided to walk back into his village and to reclaim his possessions. But his family kind of kept their door shut. They didn't leave him back in. So he had a big trouble. He lost everything. He had no more possessions, and he was spending the rest of his life like a beggar. Giving up things doesn't necessarily mean that you have an attitude of renunciation. Things, material possessions, are never really the problem. The problem is the way we attach to those things, the idea that it is things that can actually make you happy, or that can make other people happy in the future, of course. So if you just have enough things and do enough, then finally you'll be happy forever after. That's the idea of materialism. So we keep collecting stuff, and that includes money, because we think that it's the stuff that makes us happy. Of course it doesn't. It's stuff, it's just stuff. The more stuff you have, the more stuff you have. The more you do, the more you do. It's just that. The same is true for money. The more you have, the more money you have, but it's not necessary that you have more happiness. You might have more busyness, more trouble with more possessions. Also, that is not necessary. So what we can learn from that is that all these kind of topics about money, about material possession and so forth are not really for sure. You can't really give any guarantee that if you have enough money you will be happy, or you have only a little bit of money you will be happy. This is not for sure. These things are not for sure. So the idea is, let go of your investment in those things and instead invest in yourself. Find your center, find your inner joy, so you become independent of stuff. Once you're independent of stuff, you might have stuff, you might not have stuff, but it doesn't make a difference to you because you have freed yourself. So that's the idea of spiritual practice. Money is very secondary. I hope that this helped and gave you a little bit of inspiration or insight about the topic of money. It's a really fairly simple topic actually. And well, next week we'll be back again with another little insight. In the meantime, if you have any questions, write them down in the comment section below as usual, or write to me directly by email. I'm very happy to receive your emails, of course. And I wish you a wonderful next week and look forward to see you next Wednesday. Bye-bye.